This is the Extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. I'm not going to lie to you, it's a little bit truncated this evening. I wasn't actually at a game, but we do have people who were. We're going to hear from Dalymount Park, Oriel Park and Eamon DC Park. That's actually where we'll start. Galway beating Waterford by 1-0. Extratime.com's Paul Corcoran was there, and afterwards he sent us this voice note.
Hi Oisín, it's just gone full time here in Galway, and Galway United ran out 1-0 winners over Waterford here on the banks of the Corrib. Just a quick summary of the game. It was Pat Hickey who scored his first ever goal for Galway United to give his side the 3 points tonight. The American midfielder, a huge imposing presence for United tonight. In only his second consecutive start, I believe, but he didn't look out of place one bit. He was Galway United's outstanding performer throughout, and I believe he's very rarely completed a whole 90 minutes, but he certainly did tonight. Scoring a great goal in that first half from a long throw by Ed McCarthy. The ball was headed down from him and he made no mistake. He lashed that ball into the back of the net. But aside from the goal he scored, it's the fact that midfielder can play both ways. He's got his head to Everton in the final third, but as well, even moments after he scored that goal, he got a big header defensively to clear the ball as Galway United dominated that first half, and Pat Hickey was a very, very big part of that. Another really outstanding performer for Galway United in that first half was Stephen Walsh, who his performance up front, look, he didn't score tonight, but everyone knows Stephen Walsh is a really, really aggressive attacking player, and his runs spooked the Waterford defence so much that both centre-backs for Waterford got on yellow cards in very, very quick succession. That was Kasper Radikowski and Grant Horton, both on yellow cards due to pulling Stephen Walsh down in that first half, which obviously makes things very tricky for any team, especially as they went into the second half. I suppose on the Waterford side as well, before the end of that half, they were very unlucky. Despite Galway United dominated that first half, but Waterford were very unlucky not to go into the half-time without an equaliser, when Pádraig Amond absolutely rattled the crossbar. Very unlucky. It was the underside of the crossbar. Very unlucky that ball didn't go over the line. The second half, a bit of a different story. Look, there weren't that many key chances to talk about, but Waterford certainly much better as Galway United introduced a few players. They took off Conor McCormick and brought in Francie Lombodo as Conor McCormick was on the yellow card, and Galway certainly weren't as dominant as they had been in that first half, and certainly Waterford got at Galway a couple of times. Certainly like the Conor Parsons had a very early chance in that half. They drew a couple of saves from Brendan Clark during that half as well, but in the end Waterford just couldn't really find that equaliser, and Galway United defended very well. They even had a couple of chances themselves in that second half and still threatened. They certainly could have doubled their lead as well in the 74th minute when a ball fell to Gary Buckley from a long throw, but the defender of the night on the night, he dragged the ball wide at that stage. And I suppose another key moment there was when Pádraig Amond went close as well, when he made a drill across in the 77th minute. Went very close, and they went close from the resulting corner as well, but Keith Longside just couldn't find that equaliser in the end. So that's a defeat for Waterford, a first win for Galway United in 3 games as both sides prepare for FAI Cup action next weekend. Final score here again in Eamon DC Park: Galway United 1, Waterford 0.
Hard to believe that those two came up from the First Division last season. They've settled so well in Premier Division football. Let's go to Oriel Park, where Dundalk enjoyed a victory against Drogheda. There were issues towards the end of the match with fans on the pitch. You can read more about that on extratime.com. Stephen Mallon was at the game for us, and her report is there. John Flanagan, formerly of Dundalk and Drogheda, was on commentary and analysis for LOI TV and LMFM. After the game, he sent us this voice note.
All over here in Oriel Park, massive victory from Dundalk on a scoreline of 4-2. Dundalk committed the traps on fire. 2 great goals, went ahead. Ryan O'Kane, great shot. Ball parried and dinked back in by Robbie Benson. Hadiki on his debut at home scored a wonderful goal. Second goal then, wonderful strike by Ryan O'Kane in the edge of the box. Just whipped a shot into the bottom corner, gave Wogan no chance. Drogheda got a lifeline then, good header by Taylor, and after following up good work by Ryan Markey. Second half, Drogheda come out and do a better side. They pushed, they plenty of ball in the Dundalk defence, but Dundalk they were comfortable, played on the counter-attack, and then hit them with 2 really, really good, well-worked counter-attacks. Both finished off by Darrell Horgan. And then last minute penalty for Drogheda, tucked away by Taylor again for his second on the night. But a 4-2 win, massive step forward from the Dundalk in terms of opening up that gap in the search for safety. Game overshadowed, marred really by trouble on the field after the game. Drogheda fans came across and there was a bit of a melee of row which we shouldn't see on any football field. It'll have to be dealt with by both clubs, but positive signs from the Dundalk. Great 3 points.
Former Dundalk and Drogheda defender John Flanagan on Dundalk's 4-2 victory against Drogheda United. A lot more on the issues towards the end of the game available online. Worth having a look at James Rogers' X feed, and just not great scenes. And by the way, we want to send our condolences to the family of Zara Murphy. Zara is a teenager who tragically passed away while playing with her club Thurman Feckin Celtic in the Louth Schoolgirls League on Thursday night. The family and of course her friends going through a very tough time. We are thinking of you, and our thoughts are with you. Let's go to Dalymount Park, where Bohemians were taking on Sligo Rovers, watching for Extratime.com. Watching a 2-0 win for the Bitter Red and a third victory in a row was Extratime.com's Patrick O'Connor, and afterwards he sent us this voice note.
Really interesting game here tonight at Dalymount Park, played before 4,119 fans. High quality game, high intensity. Both teams really playing it on the deck at every opportunity. And we had 2 moments of high drama. One of them was in the 35th minute, and the second one was in the 95th minute. In the 35th minute, Sligo took the lead. Ellis Chapman played a superb ball between Jordan Flores and Cian Byrne, which is the Bohemian centre-half partnership tonight. Wilson Waveru got between both defenders, took it forward, rounded the keeper, and slotted it home past Churaska in the goal for a really good opening goal. If that wasn't enough drama, within a minute they were down to 10 men. Stephen Mallon, who was playing on the right wing for Sligo, a former Bohemians player, he has joined recently from Cliftonville. He pulled Ross Tierney back without there being any need to do so. It was at least 80 metres from goals. He'd already got a yellow card. This is his second. He then saw red, and he was sent off, and Sligo were down to 10 men. That should have been a prompt for Bohemians to go on and dominate the game and at least get an equaliser, if not a winner. They certainly had loads of possession, but from the 38th minute when Mallon was sent off up to half-time, they failed to get an equaliser. Alan Reynolds rung the changes at half-time. He took off Paddy Kirk, went 3 at the back, and brought on Declan McDade. He also took off Jordan Flores. Not quite sure why. Maybe he had an injury, and he brought on Kavanagh, one of the recent recruits here at Dalymount Park. They continued to dominate possession. Midway through the second half, they also brought on Piziek and new signing Alex Grieve, who came in from St. Mirren during the week. So they actually had 3 centre forwards on the pitch: Akintunde, Piziek and Grieve, and wingers like Rooney and McDade. But despite all the possession and despite all the balls that were going into the box, they failed to break down the Sligo defence, for whom Ed McGinty was once again superb. Both did have lots of half chances from a variety of players. Grieve had an effort, Pisniak had 2, Rooney himself had a shot on goal. But McGinty was up to it, and he saved everything that came within his reach and didn't concede a goal. Second moment of drama occurred right at the death. Bows won a free kick out on their right. It was swung in, poorly taken, didn't beat the first man, and the ball broke to Ellis Chapman. Prior to that, the Bows keeper Churaska had gone forward expecting a high ball into the box and maybe getting a head on it. He had left his goal line, but when the ball broke to Chapman, he strode to the halfway line, no goalie there, and he chipped the ball from all of 65, possibly 70 yards into an open goal, with Churaska racing back, trying to get to it, but he failed to do so. So the ball rolled into the net in the 95th minute to make it 2-0 to Sligo Rovers. As soon as the kickoff was taken, the referee blew the final whistle. So a dramatic finish to the game. Fantastic night for Sligo Rovers. 3 wins on the trot. For them, they beat Shamrock Rovers 2-0, Derry City 2-1, and now have come to Dublin and beaten Bohemians 2-0. So a great night for the Bit of Red and for Mark Russell. Not so for Bohemians, Not surprisingly, Alan Reynolds was very disappointed at the end of the game, and there was a lot of booing coming from the Jody stand as the Bows team and the management and the staff made their way off the pitch. So interesting game. The 3 points go to Sligo Rovers. Final score, Bohemians 0, Sligo Rovers 2.
Extratime.com's Patrick O'Connor watching Sligo Rovers beat Bows by 2-0. Table ramifications to come, but first let's go back to Thursday night. Shelbourne overcoming St Joseph's of Gibraltar in the Europa Conference League, first round, first leg. Extratime.com's Ronan McNamara was there and afterwards sent us this voice note.
Thanks, Oisín. And Shelbourne, to be fair, have rather laboured to their first European victory since 2006 with a 2-1 win over St Joseph's of Gibraltar. But I suppose as far as Damien Duff's concerned, when you've been away from Europe for 18 years, a win is a win. And what a start we had here. Mark Coyle with a daisy cutter after just 27 seconds blew the roof off Talca Park. Will Jarvis danced between a couple of defenders. It was a really, really good run, and he laid it back to the club captain, who just slammed it into the bottom corner. But really then, Shelbourne were frustrated and they were stifled by Joseph, who really just took on the classic away team in Europe. We're going to sit back, soak it up and frustrate you and try to nick something from a set piece. And that's exactly what happened. Liam Walker, who Irish fans I'm sure will remember well from our many meetings with Gibraltar at international level, his floated corner just kind of came through everybody and it struck Javi Paul sort of in the midriff, the stomach area, and it just bounced beyond Conor Kearns into the bottom corner. And yeah, that kind of sucked the life out of the place, to be honest, 5 minutes before the break. And Sean Boyd came off the bench at half time and he was involved in John Martin winning a penalty, and Will Jarvis tucked it away into the top corner in the 58th minute. And to be fair, Jarvis, a goal and assist, he looked a cut above the rest, to be honest. You can see why he was at Hull City, and some Hull City fans wanted to hang on to him this season. But certainly there'll be no taking St Joseph's for granted. They gave Shelbourne a couple of scares in the second half. Nothing too major, but a couple of moments. And given what happened to Derry against Bruno's Magpies away in Gibraltar, nothing will be taken for granted going over there on Thursday. So it's finished here at Talca Park. Shelbourne 2, St Joseph's 1.
Extratime.com's Ronan McNamara on Shelbourne's 2-1 win against St Joseph's in the Europa Conference League. Hopefully they can see it through next week. Hopefully Derry can turn it around against Bruno's Magpies. 2-0 down going into the second leg at the Ryan McBride Brandywell next week. It just goes to show, doesn't it? In Europe, you cannot take any opposition for granted. I thought Shells and Derry would breeze through these games, but of course it's not that easy, is it? Shamrock Rovers with a good 0-0 draw away in Iceland during the week. We had a special podcast with Barry Murphy after that game. They will be playing on Tuesday night, I think it is, and we'll have more on that on extratime.com in the coming days. We'll also have an awful lot more on the Republic of Ireland, who'll be playing France in Cork. A 2-1 defeat in England last night. Great to see Julianne Russell back. Great to see her scoring a goal as well. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And we'll have a special podcast on that, on the Euro final and the Irish teams, the League of Ireland teams in Europe in the coming days on extratime.com. Let's just go back through the scorelines from last night in the SSE Airtricity Men's Premier Division. Bohemians 0, Sligo Rovers 2, Dundalk 4, Drogheda United 2, Galway United 1, Waterford 0. In the First Division at Lone Town 4, Longford 1, Cork City 1, Finn Harps 0, Cathal O'Sullivan yet again scoring a belter for Cork City. Shane Keegan said on Twitter he is like Cork City's version of is it Yamin Lamal? Anytime anyone says Lamal, I think of the dude from Kajagoogoo, Never Ending Story. But no, they're two different people completely. One is a pop star in the 80s, one is a soccer star of right now, and a superstar he is as well. Kerry 3, Bray Wanderers 3, UCD 1, Treaty United 1, and Wexford 3, Cove Ramblers 0. Let's just run through the table. Shelbourne on top on 47 points, Derry second on 44 points, but they've played a game more than Shelbourne. Waterford in third, who've got a game in hand on second place Derry. They are 7 points behind Derry. Shamrock Rovers in fourth on 34 points. They've only played 23 games. Galway United 5th on 34 points, Sligo Rovers 6th on 34 points, and St Pat's 7th on 28 points. Bows 8th on 26 points. Dundalk second from bottom on 22 points, and Drogheda now 5 points behind Dundalk with the same amount of games played. They're on 17 points. In the first division, it's looking very good for Cork City. They're 15 points clear of Athlone. Granted, they've played a game more. UCD 3rd, Finn Harps 4th, Bray Wanderers 5th, Wexford 6th, Cove Ramblers 7th, Treaty United 8th, Kerry 9th, and Longford Town in 10th position. There are games today, if you're listening on Saturday, in the SSE Airtricity Women's Premier Division. Dealor Waves taking on Treaty United, and Cork City up against Bohemians. The table there, Athlone Town on top on 28 points. Shelbourne second on 25 points. They've both played 11 games. Galway, who've played 10 games, are third on 19 points. Then it's Peamount on 18. Wexford 5th on 17. Shamrock Rovers 6th on 13. Cork City 7th on 13. Bohemians 8th on 12. Treaty United 9th on 8. Dealor Waves second from bottom on 7. And Sligo Rovers bottom of the pile on 3 points. A big couple of days coming up for all sorts of reasons. We've got the Euro 2024 final. We've got the Republic of Ireland taking on France in the European qualifiers. We are getting to know our new men's team manager. We haven't even talked about that here. I guess there's so much talk about it elsewhere. You don't really need me to dive into it. Do you want my thoughts? I'll give them to you if you want them. Okay, take everything else that's going on in Irish football at the moment out of it, and there is an awful lot going on. His CV is decent. There's no reason to believe that there was someone better out there. Regards how the process was done, what was said at the press conference, and all that. Yeah, there's a bit of confusion. But ultimately, if he turns out to be the right appointment and we win football matches and qualify or get close to qualifying, then everyone will forget how the process was done and how long it took and how shambolic it appeared to be. Well, maybe they won't, but certainly they'll be more forgiving of it. But look, there are far more serious issues going around and going on in Irish football at the moment. So, those should be forefront in our minds. And fair play to those women who spoke up, by the way. If you haven't watched that documentary, that investigative piece with the Sunday Independent and RTE, then go and watch it. It's really important that you do watch it. Okay, that's it for the Extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. Thank you for listening. Lots more to come on Extratime.com in the coming days. I'd love to hear from you via @Oisín Langan. If you could like and subscribe, that would really help us out. But you don't have to. But you are getting this for free. I'm not guilting you. I'm just saying you're getting this for free. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.